Hello and welcome once again to another excellent and scintillating episode of PNSQ Chronicles. We are so glad that you can be with us. We are getting very close to the conference and we are super happy to have more of our speakers participate with us, talk with us, get involved with us. And to that end, I would like to welcome Jeff Singh to the podcast. Jeff, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me here, Michael. Appreciate it.
So Jeff is one of our invited speakers, and the topic is one that brings a smile to my face because I'm what I oftentimes refer to as an accidental tourist in the tech world. And so this idea kind of strikes me as definitely fun to see. So it's navigating the career labyrinth from intern to director. So you've got my attention. What are you going to go on about?
Yeah, well, I'm actually very blessed. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I did start my career here as an intern in QA, which is pretty random. And that was not what I went to college for. I went to UCSD for computer science. I wanted to be a developer. And when I came out, it kind of stumbled into the QA world and the QA job. And as you know, you've been, in this industry for decades. What QA has been in the last few decades constantly changes every few years, right? Like, it went from manual to like, buying a vendor to help you test like HP Test Complete to shipping our jobs to, overseas to that wasn't a good idea, ship it all back to break everything to don't break everything, move fast. Like that's not a good idea to what it is today, right? With AI. And throughout my career, I kind of stumbled every way wrong and right, got lucky, got unlucky, but somehow made my way into management and, building and leading my teams. And one of the things that, helped me kind of learn and suss my way through was going to these conferences. So, part of when, I got invited to come back and they're like, hey, what topic do you want to talk about? I kind of wanted to give a love letter back to the community. How did I end up here? How do I get agency? And the scary thing is, a lot of times it's luck. If you have a really good manager, a really good leader, they will help you get to where you want to go. But if you don't know where you want to go, you don't know how to get to the next stage, you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're not going to get there. I'm really excited to come back and, kind of talk about, hey, being from every stage, intern to QA1 to senior, SDET to an automation architect to baby manager to director leading many teams, overseas teams. What did I see from each side? What mistakes did I make? What mistakes maybe you don't have to make if you listen to me, right? And like, what are you not realizing that people don't tell you?
That's awesome. Now, I very much relate to this because, well, way back when in the Stone Ages, like 1991, if you will, I I was going to school for a very different in a lot of ways. I was going to school to bide my time because I had hoped and prayed that I was going to become a rock star. I was going to be a musician. That was my big dream, and I spent 10 years working very hard to try to make that happen. Ultimately, all that I did was ended up deeper in debt each year, and finally I got to a point where cleaning houses and playing night gigs just was not going to keep me going, unfortunately. And I had to just say, okay, I guess I need to get a real job doing something, but what? And I didn't even realize that by virtue of being a musician all these years, that in it, not just by putting things together and breaking things apart and going into studios and setting things up and tearing them down and giving away whatever labor I had and learning whatever I could, just sort of piecemeal to be able to just live, if you will, that developed a really kind of crazy jack of all trades Swiss Army knife skill set, kind of a oddball MacGyver, if you will. And then I got a chance to I was sent by a temp agency because when I showed them what I was doing with my three little floppies that I kept in my bag to write music, manage my band's finances on Lotus 123, and manage our mailing list on DBase and all the other things that went with it, they went, I have a sneaking suspicion you know more than you're letting on, or that you might even know. And so they contacted a couple of companies and they said, hey, we got a place we'd love to send you down, work for a few weeks or months and see how it goes. And if you like it, we'll negotiate. Like, great. Who are they? He says, it's a company fairly new. Don't know much about them. They're called Cisco Systems. Boy. And I found myself just thrown into a whirlwind. I was not educated to be a QA person. I was not educated to be a tester. I didn't even start out as a tester. I was basically a lab admin, meaning I pulled cables, which I was fine with. Like, yeah, that's great. Okay. I'll do the grunt dirty work. And as I kept looking at the things and I learned about the stuff, the lab that I was working for was the release lab, which was a glorified way of saying the build engineers for the releases and the software testing team. And so they all thought, hey, this long haired kid is kind of weird and fun. Let's keep him. And they wrapped their arms around me and helped me and taught me and everything else. And that grew into my career. So I totally get that. With this, I want to pivot just a little bit because during that whole course and during a lot of the machinations with it, I got a chance to rise up through the ranks, seniors. But my experiences with management were ugh, to the point to where I said, if I'm ever offered a management role again, no, thank you. So what could you say to somebody like me, who is perfectly happy being a principal or who's being an individual contributor or working with a team? As senior as I can possibly go, I love the learning. I love the hands-on. I love the program aspect of it. I love the touchy-feely, pokey-pokey part of it. But I don't necessarily want to be the one dealing with the people and the guiding them. Is there something in here for me?
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that, and I covered this in my talk actually, is so critical is don't go into management just because you think that's a career, that's how you advance your career, right? That's one of the biggest misconceptions and the biggest problems. And it's perpetuated by both sides. There are companies where they're like, I have to grow my all-star. This guy's amazing. This woman's amazing. We got to keep them. We got to give them something more. So let's make them a manager. Let's make them a people manager. It's a total disaster because what I like to say is what gets you there will not necessarily get you to where you need to go. Like the skills have to constantly change. I think what personalities you need to be a people manager is very, very different than what personalities you need to be as a senior architect or as a, tech lead. And you have to understand why do you want to do one versus the other, and how do you, be successful in those. And I think tragically, most managers don't know how to grow or don't know how to give the right advice to guide people. They're like, hey, you're doing really well. I need help. Take over this team so I can move forward upwards. And that's kind of how you start to say, hey, I hate my job. I hate interacting with these people. I don't know how to get success. Before I was an all-star, now I can't win anymore. Why is that?
Yeah, I've been there. I know that feeling very well. This sounds like it's going to be a fantastic talk. And also, I want to encourage everybody out there, you still have time. I mean, it's getting kind of close to the wire. So if you haven't booked travel to Portland, that's probably going to be a little bit of a challenge right now because we're only about a week from the conference being over. So it's coming up quick. But you can still, of course, participate in the virtual tracks. And we have a free keynote and invited speaker track. So because Jeff is part of that, you'll get a chance to be able to follow along with that if you want to. But I strongly encourage, go to pnsqc.org, register, click on the link, check it all out, and see what fits for you. And hopefully we will have you join us and you'll get a chance to either in person or virtually get to hear Jeff give his talk. Now, Jeff, if somebody can't participate in this, but they love the ideas here and they want to talk more about this with you, any way they can reach out to you?
Definitely. You can find me on LinkedIn, just under Jeff Singh. Pretty easy to find. And feel free to message me. I will say, this is one of the best conferences for the bang for buck I've ever seen. When I was a junior engineer, this was one of my favorite conferences. This is a great opportunity for you to meet your community. Everyone here is in the same boat. We're all pedaling the same way. Reach out. If it's not me, there's other leaders out there. We all came up the same way. There was always someone that helped us out, guided us, kind of gave us a talk. It doesn't have to be me, but feel free to reach out. I think our community as a whole is a great community. We want to do best for everybody. TLDR, I know that's not what you quite asked, but I would strongly recommend making this conference. If you can't, you can always reach me at my LinkedIn. And if you can't make this conference, I would say definitely try attending. There's so many good conferences out there. I think there's so many great professionals, and we really are excited about this industry.
I absolutely agree. I went my first time in 2010, and I'm coming back again this year too, and I've enjoyed it every year. And unless something basically stops me in my tracks, I plan to be here next year too. So thank you so much, Jeff. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you. And for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of PNSQ Chronicles. We will talk soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.